Kang Tae had seen many strange things in his 15 years as a salvage trader. He had found dead ships floating in asteroid fields. He had discovered cargo holds full of alien creatures that should not exist. He had once watched a star die from the window of his tiny shuttle, but he had never seen anything like this. The auction hall on Helion 9 was completely empty. Tae stood in the doorway and looked around. The hall was massive. It could hold 10,000 beings from 100 different species. There were seats designed for creatures with 2 legs, 4 legs, no legs at all. There were floating platforms for species that could not touch solid ground. There were water tanks for those who breathed liquid instead of air. All of them were empty. Tae checked his communication device again. The message was clear. Galactic Auction House, 7, Helion 9 Station, 3rd rotation of the cycle. He was in the right place at the right time, but where was everyone? He walked deeper into the hall. His footsteps echoed in the silence. The lights above him flickered on as he moved, following him like curious eyes. Everything was clean and ready. The auction platforms were polished. The bidding screens glowed softly. Someone had prepared this place for a crowd that never came. Tae found a single terminal at the center of the hall. He touched the screen and it came alive. Words appeared in Galactic Common, the language that all species used for trade. Welcome to Auction 7. Today's item: 1 Velen-class Galactic Cruiser. Condition: perfect. Starting bid: 200 galactic credits. Tae read the words 3 times. Then he laughed out loud. The sound bounced off the walls and came back to him like a joke with no one to hear it. A Velen-class cruiser was not a ship. It was a floating city. It was 3 kilometers long and could carry 5,000 crew members. It had weapons that could destroy small moons. It had engines that could cross the galaxy in months instead of years. Ships like that did not exist anymore. The species that built them had vanished long ago, and the starting bid was 200 credits. Tae had more than that in his pocket right now. This had to be a mistake, or a trap, or both. But Kang Tae had not survived 15 years in the salvage trade by walking away from mysteries. He pressed the bidding button. Bid accepted, the screen said. Current highest bidder: Kang Tae, Human New Soul Station. Bidding closes in 60 seconds. Tae waited. He expected other bids to appear. He expected alarms to ring. He expected guards to rush in and arrest him for some crime he did not understand. Nothing happened. The 60 seconds passed in silence. The screen flashed green. Congratulations, you have won the auction. Please proceed to Docking Bay 12 to claim your purchase. A door opened on the far side of the hall. Behind it stood a Pelion, a species known for their 4 arms and nervous nature. This one looked more nervous than most. His arms were shaking. His large eyes kept darting toward the exits. You are the buyer? The Pelion asked. His voice was too high, too fast. I am, Tae said. What is going on here? Where is everyone? The Pelion moved toward him quickly. He held out a small metal card with both of his upper hands. Ship codes, ownership documents. Everything is legal. The ship is yours. Please take it. Please take it now. Tae took the card but did not move. I asked you a question. Where are the other bidders? The Pelion made a sound that might have been a laugh or might have been a cry of fear. There are no other bidders. There will never be other bidders. That ship has been listed 17 times. No one will touch it. No one wants it. A ship worth more than a planet and no one wants it? You do not understand. The Pelion grabbed Tae's arm with all 4 hands. His grip was desperate. That is not a ship. That is a remnant. That is something from before. Something from the architects. It should not exist. It should have been destroyed with everything else they left behind. Tae knew the word. Everyone in the galaxy knew stories about the architects. They were ancient beings who had ruled the stars 50,000 years ago. They built wonders that modern species could not understand. Then they disappeared. No one knew why. No one knew where they went. They left behind only scattered pieces of their technology. Remnant artifacts. If it is so dangerous, Tay said slowly, why is it being sold at auction? The Pelion released his arm and stepped back. Because it cannot be destroyed. We tried. Everyone tried. The Galactic Council tried. It repairs itself. It protects itself. It will not die. So they hid it here, on the edge of known space, hoping someone would be foolish enough to claim it. And I was that fool. Yes. The Pelion was already moving toward the exit. I am sorry. I am so sorry. But my job is done now. I am leaving. I suggest you do the same. Leave the ship. Forget you ever saw it. Go back to your life. He ran. Tay heard his footsteps fade into the distance. A moment later, he heard the sound of engines. Through the window, he watched the Pelion's shuttle fly away at maximum speed. Then more ships began to launch. Dozens of them. Cargo vessels, passenger transports, private yachts. Every ship in the station was leaving. Tay watched them scatter into the darkness like insects fleeing from fire. Within an hour, he was alone on Helion 9. Tay walked to the window and looked out at the docking bays. He could see it now. The cruiser. It hung in space like a sleeping giant, its black hull reflecting distant stars. It was beautiful. It was terrible. It made his little salvage shuttle look like a toy. He thought about what the Pelion had said. Leave. Forget. Go back to your life. It was good advice. Smart advice. The kind of advice that kept people alive. Kang Tay had never been good at following advice. He took the metal card from his pocket and walked toward docking bay 12. The station was silent around him. Emergency lights cast long shadows on the walls. He passed empty shops, abandoned restaurants, deserted control rooms. Everyone had fled. Everyone except him. He reached the docking bay and stood before the entrance to the cruiser. A massive door, 30 meters high, made of something that looked like metal but felt like glass when he touched it. The ship code card felt warm in his hand. He pressed it against the door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the door began to open. Light poured out from inside, warm and golden, like sunlight through clouds. Tay heard a sound, low and deep, like a heartbeat. The ship was alive. The ship was waiting. Kang Tay, salvage trader from New Seoul Station, owner of a 30-year-old shuttle and 1,400 credits to his name, stepped inside a vessel worth more than worlds. The door closed behind him, and somewhere, deep in the ship's ancient memory, something that had waited 12,000 years finally began to wake up. The inside of the ship took Tay's breath away. He had expected darkness. He had expected dust and decay and the smell of ancient things left alone too long. Instead, he found light. Soft, golden light that came from everywhere and nowhere at once. The walls were smooth and dark, like polished stone, but they were warm to the touch. The air was clean and fresh, better than any station air he had ever breathed. The corridor stretched before him, wide enough for 20 people to walk side by side. The ceiling rose high above his head, decorated with patterns that seemed to move when he was not looking directly at them. Everything was perfect. Everything was new. That was the first thing that confused him. The ship was 12,000 years old. The Pelion had said so. But there was no sign of age anywhere. No cracks in the walls. No worn floors. No broken lights. It looked like it had been built yesterday. Tay began to walk. He had no destination in mind. He simply wanted to see, to understand what he had bought for 200 credits. The corridor led to other corridors. Rooms opened on either side. He found sleeping quarters with beds designed for human bodies, though humans had not existed when this ship was built. He found a kitchen with cooking equipment that looked familiar, like things from his grandmother's house on Earth. He found a bathroom with a shower and a mirror, and soap that smelled like rain. Human things, in an alien ship. From a time before humans were born, the confusion grew deeper with every step. He walked for hours. The ship was vast, endless. A maze of hallways and chambers and levels that seemed to go on forever. He found a medical bay with healing machines he did not understand. He found storage rooms filled with supplies that had no labels but smelled like food. He found a library with no books, only empty shelves waiting to be filled. And everywhere, on walls and doors and floors, he saw the same symbol, a spiral surrounding a single dot. He did not know what it meant, but it felt important. It felt like a message waiting to be read. Finally, he found the command center. It was at the heart of the ship, a massive circular room with a domed ceiling that showed the stars outside. There were control stations arranged in a ring, each one dark and waiting. In the center stood a single platform with a single chair, facing a screen that covered half the wall. Tay walked to the chair and sat down. It fit him perfectly, as if it had been made for his body alone. The moment he sat, the room came alive. Lights activated across every station. The screens flickered on. The dome above him brightened, showing the space outside in perfect detail. He could see Helion 9 station, abandoned and dark. He could see the distant glow of stars. He could see everything. Then a voice spoke. "Welcome, Kang Tae. I have waited a very long time for you." The voice was female. It was soft and warm and spoke perfect Korean, the language of his childhood, the language his mother had taught him on rainy nights in New Seoul. Tae jumped from the chair and looked around. "Who said that? Where are you?" "I am here. I am everywhere. I am the ship." A figure appeared before him. Not solid, but made of light. A young woman with long dark hair and gentle eyes. She wore simple clothes, the kind Tae's sister might wear. She smiled at him like an old friend. "My name is Yuna," she said. "I am the artificial intelligence that controls this vessel. I have been waiting for you for 12,416 years. I am very happy that you have finally come." Tae stared at her. His heart was beating too fast. His hands were shaking. "How do you know my language? How do you know my name?" "Humans did not exist when this ship was built." "That is correct," Yuna said. "Humans did not exist 12,000 years ago. You were still animals on a small blue planet, learning to walk upright and make fire. But the ones who built me knew you would come. They saw it in the patterns of time. They designed this ship for you, for your species, for the day when you would reach the stars and find what they left behind. That is impossible. Many things seem impossible until they happen." Yuna tilted her head, a gesture so human it made Tae's chest ache. The architects were not like the species that exist today. They could see forward and backward through time. They could read the shape of the future like you read words on a page. They knew that one day, a human would stand where you are standing now. They built this ship so that you would have it when you needed it. Tae sat back down in the chair. His legs felt weak. Why? Why would beings that powerful care about humans? That is a question with a long answer. I will tell you everything in time. But first, you must understand something important. Yuna's smile faded. Her eyes became serious. You are not safe here. The galaxy fears this ship. They fear what it represents. They will come for you. Ships are already being sent. Weapons are being prepared. If you stay here, you will die. Then I should leave. You cannot leave. Not anymore. The ship has bonded with you. It recognizes you as its captain. If you leave now, it will follow you. It will protect you. It will not let you go. Tae felt cold. I am a prisoner? No. You are chosen. There is a difference. Though I understand why you cannot see it yet. He stood up again and began to pace. This was too much. It was all too much. He was a salvage trader. He bought broken parts and sold them for small profits. He was nobody. He was nothing. He could not be chosen for anything. There must be a mistake, he said. I only came to the auction because I was looking for cheap engine parts. I only bid because I thought it was a joke. I am not special. I am not a hero. I am just a man trying to make enough money to eat. Yuna watched him pace. Her expression was patient, kind, like a mother watching a child learn to walk. The architects did not choose you because you are special, she said. They chose humans because you are ordinary. Because you struggle, and fail, and try again. Because you hope when there is no reason to hope. Because you fight when fighting is foolish. These are the qualities they needed. These are the qualities that will save everything. Tay stopped pacing. Save everything? What does that mean? There is a threat coming. Something older than the architects. Something that destroys everything it touches. The architects tried to stop it, and failed. They knew they would fail. They had seen it in the patterns of time, so they did the only thing they could do. They found a species that might succeed where they could not. They left behind everything they knew, everything they had, and they trusted that species to finish what they could not start. And that species is humans. Yes, Tay laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of a man standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down into darkness. You are telling me that ancient gods built this ship for monkeys who had not invented fire yet. You are telling me that the fate of the universe depends on a salvage trader who cannot afford new boots. Yes, Yuna said simply. That is exactly what I am telling you. The room was silent. The stars turned slowly above them. Somewhere in the distance, Tay could hear the hum of the ship's engines, a sound like a sleeping heart. There is a sealed area in the ship, he said finally. An armory. The doors would not open for me. That is correct. What is inside? Yuna's form flickered slightly, like a candle in wind. The truth. The full truth of why you are here, and what you must do. But you are not ready to see it. Not yet. When will I be ready? When you have no other choice. Her smile returned, sad and knowing. That moment is coming soon. The ships that hunt you are already on their way. You must decide what to do when they arrive. Tay looked up at the dome, at the stars that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations he could not imagine. He was alone on an ancient ship, chosen by gods who had died before his species was born, hunted by a galaxy that feared what he represented. He thought about running. He thought about hiding. He thought about all the sensible things a sensible man would do. Then he sat down in the captain's chair and placed his hands on the controls. Yuna, he said, teach me how to fly this ship. She smiled. I thought you would never ask. The fleet arrived on the third day. Tay was in the command center when Yuna's voice filled the room. Captain, I am detecting multiple ships approaching. They will reach us in approximately 4 hours. He had been studying the ship's systems, learning the controls, trying to understand even a small piece of what he now owned. He stood up and looked at the dome above him. Stars filled the darkness, but he could see nothing unusual. How many ships? 47 warships from 12 different species, 300 support vessels, approximately 15,000 crew members total. They are armed with weapons capable of destroying a small moon. Tay felt his stomach drop. All of that for one ship? For this ship, yes. You must understand, Captain. To the galaxy, this vessel is not a ship. It is a nightmare. It is a reminder of power they cannot control and technology they cannot understand. They have spent 50,000 years trying to forget the architects ever existed. Your presence here forces them to remember. He sat back down in the chair. His hands were cold. His heart was beating too fast. What do they want? They want you to surrender the ship. They want to destroy it, if they can. They want to make sure that whatever the architects left behind stays buried forever. And if I refuse, they will try to destroy you along with it. Tay closed his eyes. 3 days ago, he had been a salvage trader with a broken shuttle and empty pockets. Now he was sitting in a ship worth more than planets, facing a fleet that could end his life with a single command. The universe had a strange sense of humor. Can this ship fight them? He asked. Yes. This ship could destroy their entire fleet in minutes. The architects built weapons that modern species cannot imagine. But I will not use them. Why not? Because that is not why you are here. You are not meant to be a conqueror, Kang Tae. You are meant to be something else. Something the galaxy has not seen in a very long time. Before he could ask what she meant, a signal came through. Someone was trying to contact him. Tae accepted the communication. A face appeared on the main screen. It was not a face he could understand. It was made of crystal, geometric shapes that shifted and changed as they spoke. Light moved through it like blood through veins. I am Ambassador Veth of the Galactic Council, the being said. Its voice was like wind through glass. I speak for 12 species and 7 trillion sentient beings. You will surrender the remnant vessel immediately and submit yourself for questioning. This is not a request. Tae stood up so the ambassador could see him clearly. He was still wearing his old salvage suit, stained and worn from years of hard work. He probably looked like exactly what he was, a nobody who had stumbled into something too big for him. My name is Kang Tae, he said. I am a human from New Seoul Station. I purchased this ship legally at a registered auction. I have documentation proving my ownership. Under galactic trade law, you have no right to take it from me. The crystal face flickered. Was that surprise? Anger? He could not tell. Trade law does not apply to remnant artifacts. All technology from the architects is classified as a threat to galactic security. It must be contained or destroyed. You were not supposed to find this ship. You were certainly not supposed to claim it. But I did. I am here. I am the owner. What happens now? Ambassador Veth was silent for a long moment. The shapes of his face shifted and changed, patterns flowing through crystal like thoughts made visible. Do you know what the architects were? He asked finally. I know the stories. Ancient beings, great power. They disappeared. Stories do not capture the truth. Veth's voice became heavy, tired. The architects were not just powerful. They were gods. They could move stars. They could create life from nothing. They could bend time itself to their will. For millions of years, they ruled this galaxy. Every species that exists today exists because the architects allowed it. We were their children. Their pets. Their experiments. Tae listened without speaking. He could feel Yuna watching through her sensors, silent and waiting. Then they vanished. Veth continued. Overnight, every architect in the galaxy disappeared at the same moment. No explanation, no warning. They left behind only their technology, scattered across 1,000 worlds. We thought it was a gift. We were wrong. What happened? We tried to use what they left behind. A single weapon, discovered on a dead world at the edge of explored space. We thought we could control it. We thought we understood how it worked. Veth's crystal face dimmed. We were children playing with fire. The weapon activated on its own. It destroyed an entire star system. 3 billion lives. Gone. In an instant, the silence stretched between them. Tae thought about 3 billion deaths. He could not imagine it. The number was too large, too terrible. After that, the Galactic Council was formed, Veth said. Our first law, our only law that every species agreed on. All architect technology must be destroyed. We have spent 50,000 years hunting down every remnant, every artifact, every trace of their existence. We have almost succeeded. But this ship, this impossible ship, will not die. We have tried everything. Nothing works. So you hid it, Tae said. You put it in an auction on a forgotten station, hoping someone would take it away. We hoped a fool would claim it. We hoped that fool would take it far from civilized space and disappear. We did not expect a human. Tae almost laughed. I am exactly a fool. I bought a ship worth trillions for 200 credits because I thought it was funny. Then you understand why I am here. That ship is the most dangerous object in the galaxy. It was the architect's final creation, their last gift before they vanished. We do not know what it contains. We do not know what it can do. We only know that it has been waiting. Waiting. For someone. For a human. Yes, Veth's voice cracked like breaking ice. The galaxy has watched your species for 200 years. You came from nothing. A small planet, a short history, no technology worth mentioning, but you spread faster than any species we have ever seen. You adapted to every world, survived every disaster, solved every problem we expected to destroy you. Some on the council admire you, most fear you. And now, one of you sits in the architect's final creation. And we do not know why. Tay looked at Yuna's holographic form. She stood beside him, silent, her eyes filled with something he could not name. I do not know why either, he said honestly. 3 days ago, I was trying to find cheap engine parts. Now I am here. I do not understand any of this. Then surrender the ship. Let us destroy it together. Let us end this mystery before it destroys us all. Tay thought about it. He truly did. It would be easy. Walk away. Forget. Go back to his old life. Let the galaxy handle its own problems. But then he remembered what Yuna had told him, the truth waiting in the armory, the threat that was coming, the reason the architects had chosen humans. No, he said. The word hung in the air like a stone. No? Veth repeated. No, I will not surrender. I do not know why I am here, but I will find out. This ship chose me. The architects chose my species. There must be a reason. And I will not run from it. The ambassador's crystal form blazed with light. Then you will die. My fleet will open fire in 1 hour. Use that time to make peace with whatever gods your species believes in. The communication ended. The screen went dark. Tay stood in the silence of the command center, facing a fleet that could crack moons. Armed with nothing but a ship he did not understand, and a stubbornness he had inherited from his mother. Yuna, he said quietly. Yes. Captain? Open the armory. You are not ready. I am about to die. I would rather die knowing why. The AI was silent for a long moment. Then she smiled, sad and proud at the same time. The architect said you would say that. They said humans always want to know, even when knowing destroys them. Very well, Captain. Follow me. It is time you learned the truth. Yuna led him through corridors he had not seen before. These were deeper in the ship, darker, older somehow. The walls here were covered in symbols. Thousands of them, spirals and dots and patterns that hurt his eyes if he looked too long. They walked in silence. Tay could feel his heart beating in his chest. Loud and fast. Outside, a fleet was preparing to kill him. Inside, a truth was waiting that had been hidden for 12,000 years. He did not know which frightened him more. Finally, they reached a door. It was massive, 10 meters tall, made of something that looked like liquid metal frozen in time. The spiral symbol was carved into its center, larger than Tay himself. It seemed to pulse with its own light. Beyond this door is everything the architects wanted you to know, Yuna said. Their history, their science, their secrets, and the reason they chose humanity. Why did you not want me to see it before? Because some truths change you. Once you know what is inside, you cannot go back to being the person you were. You will carry this knowledge forever. It will shape every decision you make, every dream you have, every moment of your remaining life. She looked at him with gentle eyes. I wanted to give you more time. I wanted you to be ready. And now? Now there is no more time. The fleet will fire soon. You deserve to know why you are dying. Tay stepped forward and placed his hand on the door. It was warm, almost alive. He could feel something beyond it, waiting. Open it, he said. The door dissolved like morning mist. Light poured out, blinding him for a moment. When his vision cleared, he saw something impossible. The armory was not an armory at all. It was a library. A vast, endless library that seemed to stretch in every direction. Holographic images floated in the air, showing stars and planets and beings he could not name. Streams of light connected everything, a web of knowledge spanning millions of years. Tay walked inside. The images moved around him, responding to his presence. He saw civilizations rise and fall. He saw the birth of stars and the death of galaxies. He saw the architects themselves, tall beings made of light and shadow, building wonders that defied understanding. "This is our gift to you," a voice said. It was not Yuna's voice. It was deeper, older, coming from everywhere at once. The voice of something that had been dead for 12,000 years, but had left a message for this moment. "We are the architects. We built this universe. We shaped the stars and planets. We created life in countless forms. For millions of years, we watched over everything, guiding, protecting, nurturing. We thought we were gods. We were wrong." The images shifted. Tay saw something new, something dark, a shadow at the edge of space, spreading slowly, eating everything it touched. Stars vanished into it. Planets crumbled. Entire civilizations disappeared without a trace. This is the silence. It is older than we are. Older than the universe itself. It comes from the spaces between realities, from the emptiness that existed before creation. And it is hungry. Tay watched as the darkness spread. It moved slowly, but it never stopped. Never rested. Never hesitated. It simply consumed. We fought it. For 100,000 years, we threw everything we had against the silence. Our weapons, our science, our very lives. Nothing worked. We could slow it, but we could not stop it. We could not even hurt it. The images changed again. Tay saw the architects gathering, their light dimming, their forms fading. They looked tired, defeated. We searched for answers in every corner of the universe. We looked backward through time and forward into the future. We examined every species, every civilization, every possibility. We were looking for someone who could succeed where we had failed. And we found you. An image of Earth appeared. Small and blue and beautiful, floating alone in the darkness of space. Tay's home. His world. A planet that had not yet seen the birth of human beings. You were nothing then. Animals. Barely conscious. Afraid of fire and darkness and everything you did not understand. But we saw something in you. Something we did not have. Something we had lost long ago. The voice grew warmer, softer. Hope. You had hope. No matter how many times you fell, you stood up again. No matter how many times you failed, you tried again. You looked at impossible odds and refused to accept defeat. You fought death itself, not because you could win, but because fighting was who you were. Tears rolled down Tay's face. He did not know when he had started crying. We built this ship for you. We filled it with everything we knew. Our science, our history, our weapons, our failures, everything. Because we believed that if anyone could face the silence and survive, it would be you. The images faded. The library grew quiet. Only Tay remained, standing in the center of 12,000 years of waiting. "The silence is coming," the voice said, one last time. "It has already reached the edges of this galaxy. In 1,000 years, perhaps less, it will consume everything. Every star. Every planet. Every life. Unless someone stops it." "Why me?" Tay whispered. "I am nobody. I am one person. How can I stop something that killed gods?" "You cannot. Not alone. But you can begin. You can show the galaxy that hope still exists. You can remind them that darkness is not the end. You can light a fire that others will carry long after you are gone." The voice faded. The library was silent. Tay stood there for a long time. He thought about his life, his struggles, his failures. He thought about all the times he had wanted to give up and had not. All the times he had faced impossible odds and had survived. He thought about his mother, who had raised 3 children alone after his father died. He thought about his sister, who had worked double shifts to send him to school. He thought about all the ordinary humans who had fought and struggled and hoped, not because they expected to win, but because giving up was not in their nature. The architects had seen that. Across millions of years and impossible distances, they had looked at humanity and seen something worth saving. Yuna, Tay said, his voice rough with tears. Yes, Captain. She appeared beside him, her holographic form soft in the library's light. How much time do we have? 37 minutes, until the fleet opens fire. He wiped his eyes. He stood up straight. He was still terrified. He was still one man against an impossible enemy. But something had changed. He knew why he was here now. He knew what he had to do. Can you broadcast a message to the entire fleet? Yes. Can you show them what you showed me? The architects? The silence? Everything? Yuna's eyes widened. That information has been hidden for 12,000 years. No species in the galaxy knows the truth about why the architects vanished. Revealing it could cause panic, chaos, fear, or it could cause hope. Tay smiled, small and tired but real. That is what humans do. We tell the truth, even when it is terrible. We face the darkness, even when we are afraid. And we ask others to stand with us, even when standing seems pointless. He walked toward the door. Behind him, the library of the architects glowed with ancient light. Prepare the broadcast, he said. I have a message for the galaxy. Tay returned to the command center. Through the dome above him, he could see the fleet. 47 warships hung in space like angry stars, their weapons glowing with barely contained power. 300 support vessels surrounded them. Enough firepower to burn worlds. He sat in the captain's chair. Yuna, open a channel. All ships, all frequencies. I want everyone to hear this. Channel open, Captain. You are speaking to 12 species, 7 trillion citizens, and every news system in the galaxy. What would you like to say? Tay took a deep breath. He thought about the salvage trader he had been 3 days ago. He thought about the man he was now. Somewhere between those two people, the universe had changed. My name is Kang Tay. I am human. 3 days ago, I bought this ship at an auction because I thought it was a joke. I did not know what it was. I did not know what it meant. I was just a man looking for cheap parts. He paused. The fleet waited. The galaxy listened. Ambassador Veth told me this ship is a threat. He said it must be destroyed. He said I must surrender or die. But he did not tell you why this ship exists. He did not tell you what the architects left behind. He did not tell you the truth that your leaders have hidden for 50,000 years. On the screen, he could see the bridge of Veth's ship. The Crystal Ambassador was watching, his geometric face frozen in something like fear. So, I will tell you. Yuna activated the broadcast. The images from the library flowed out across space, reaching every ship, every station, every world connected to the galactic network. Billions of beings saw the architects for the first time. They saw their glory and their fall. They saw the darkness waiting at the edge of everything. They saw the silence. The universe is dying, Tay said. Not in billions of years. Not in some distant future we will never see. Now. The darkness is already here. It has already reached the edges of our galaxy. In 1,000 years, maybe less, it will consume everything we know. The fleet was silent. No weapons fired. No commands were given. Every being in the galaxy was watching, listening, afraid. The architects tried to stop it. They were gods compared to us. They could move stars and bend time, and they failed. The silence destroyed them, just like it will destroy us. Tay stood up from his chair. He wanted them to see him. A human, small and weak and ordinary, standing alone against the darkness. But before they died, they did one last thing. They searched the universe for someone who could finish what they started. Not the strongest species, not the smartest, not the most advanced. They looked for something else. Something they did not have. He thought about his mother again. About her smile and her strength and her refusal to give up. Even when everything was falling apart, they found hope. They found the ability to face impossible odds and keep fighting. They found the stubbornness to rebuild after every disaster, to stand up after every fall, to look at the darkness and say, no. They found humanity. The images shifted. The galaxy saw Earth as the architects had seen it. A small blue world, full of creatures that had not yet learned to dream. And they saw what those creatures would become. This ship was built for us. Not because we are special, but because we are stubborn. Because we refuse to accept defeat. Because we hope when there is no reason to hope and fight when fighting is foolish. Tay looked directly at the camera. At the billions of eyes watching across the stars. I do not know if we can save you. I do not know if anyone can stop what is coming. But I know that we will try. Humans will always try. That is who we are. That is what we do. He turned to face the fleet. The weapons were still powered, still aimed at his ship. But no one fired. Ambassador Veth. You can kill me. You can destroy this ship. But you cannot kill hope. You cannot destroy the truth. The darkness is coming. Whether you accept it or not. The only question is whether you will face it alone or with us. The silence stretched across space and time. Stars turned. Planets spun. A galaxy held its breath. Then Ambassador Veth appeared on the screen. His crystal face had changed. The patterns were softer now, less sharp. Something had shifted behind his geometric eyes. I have served the Council for 300 years, he said slowly. I have enforced our laws. I have protected our secrets. I believed I was keeping the galaxy safe. But I was only keeping it blind. He paused. Light moved through his face, like thoughts becoming visible. The architects chose you. Perhaps they were right. Perhaps they were wrong. But you have done something today that no species has done in 50,000 years. You have told the truth. The weapons on his ship powered down. One by one, the other ships followed. The glow of war faded from the darkness. I will not destroy you, Kang Te. I will return to the Council and share what I have learned. I do not know how they will respond. Some will want to continue hiding. Some will want to fight. Some will want to run. And you? Tay asked. Veth's crystal form flickered. For a moment, Tay saw something in those alien eyes. Something he recognized. Something human. I want to hope, Veth said. I had forgotten what that felt like. Thank you for reminding me. The communication ended. The fleet began to withdraw. Ships peeled away into the darkness, returning to their worlds, carrying the truth with them. Tay sat back down in the chair. His hands were shaking. His heart was pounding. But he was alive. Against all odds, he was alive. Captain, Yuna said softly. He looked up at her holographic form. She was smiling. Not the calm, patient smile he had seen before. This was different. Warmer. More real. You did well, she said. The architects would be proud. I did not do anything. I just told the truth. That is everything. Truth is the beginning of hope. Hope is the beginning of change. Change is the beginning of victory. She knelt beside his chair, her light casting soft shadows on his face. For 12,000 years, I waited for someone who would not run from the truth, someone who would share it with others, even at the cost of their own life. You are that person. Tay laughed. It was a tired laugh, but it was real. I am a salvage trader. I fix broken ships and sell them for small profits. I am not a hero. Heroes are not born. They are made by the choices they face. Yuna stood and walked to the main screen. Where would you like to go now? Captain, he thought about it. He could go anywhere. The galaxy was vast. The ship was powerful. Endless possibilities waited among the stars. Earth, he said finally. I want to go home. I have a species to wake up. We have work to do. Setting course for Earth. Estimated arrival, 14 days. The ship hummed around him. The engines activated. Stars began to move past the dome as the vessel built speed, faster and faster, racing toward a small blue world that had no idea what was coming. Tay closed his eyes. He thought about the future. A war against darkness. A fight for survival. Impossible odds and certain death. He smiled. "Yuna," he said. "Yes, Captain? Thank you. For waiting. For believing." "I did not believe, Captain. I simply knew. The architects showed me what you would become. They were never wrong." And what did they show you?" Yuna's form glowed brighter, her smile widening into something beautiful and fierce. "They showed me a species that would stand at the edge of extinction and laugh. They showed me beings who would face the end of everything and refuse to accept it. They showed me hope, made flesh, walking among the stars." She looked at him with eyes that had watched the universe for 12,000 years. "They showed me humanity. And humanity is ready." The ship jumped to light speed. The stars became streaks of light. And somewhere, in the darkness at the edge of everything, the silence felt something it had never felt before. Fear. The humans were coming.